Welcome back to Mount Connections. We're continuing to talk about making this world a better place. Right now we're talking about the Citizens Climate Lobby. It's a kind of a broad chapter that's going on. There's over 400 chapters across the U.S. It's national. And here to talk about the Utah one is Lauren Barros and Mia Vinding. They are both involved with the Citizens Climate Lobby and a special kind of act that they're putting on. But first we're going to talk about a broad overview of CCL. So Lauren and Mia, thank you so much for joining me on the couch this morning. Yeah. So yeah, we just got done talking about a trash pickup that's taking place. I'm talking about how much recycling I got in the back of my truck. So I just want to say thank you guys for kind of being part of the chapter of the Citizens Climate Lobby, because that's something that is absolutely terrifying, hearing, hey, guess what? Our climate's changing and we may be at a point of no return.
Yeah, it's one of our major concerns for sure.
Totally, and it should be. Can you talk about what exactly the Citizens Climate Lobby is?
Sure. The Citizens Climate Lobby is a grassroots lobbying organization. They have 400 chapters in the United States. It's worldwide, and there are actually 5 chapters in Utah.
Okay.
One of them is the Wasatch Back chapter up here. The Citizens Climate Lobby is a nonpartisan group focused on working with Republicans and Democrats to lobby and get a federal bill passed that will effectively solve climate change.
And it's important that you said it's nonpartisan, it's bipartisan, because this isn't a Republican issue, this is a Democrat issue, this isn't liberal, this isn't conservative, this is a human issue.
Exactly, and that's really, I think, one of the defining features of the group is that we work with people who might have very different views on other issues to try to come together on this issue.
And Mia, can you talk about how you're involved? Because at your age, I don't think I was involved with anything in the grand scheme of life. So for you to be rallying, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's been really cool to be involved. It's not necessarily something that I see or that a lot of kids my age are doing, if that makes sense. I was actually at the Youth Climate Rally a couple weeks ago at the Capitol, but there aren't a lot of kids getting involved in like the lobbying groups, if that makes sense. But it's been really cool to be a part of something and work with people who are older than me, which has been really interesting to see everybody's different viewpoints come together on solving this really important issue.
And is that the main reason why you decided to join the climate lobby, because it's an important issue, or is it something else that drove you to be an advocate for climate change?
Well, I think that a lot of times when we talk about climate change, we talk about it as this really scary issue. And it's not necessarily a solution-based kind of conversation. But the reason why I joined CCL and why I think it's hopefully so effective is that it has a really valid solution, and a solution that I think a lot of people from across the political spectrum can agree on.
Totally. And do you see more kids your age joining the advocacy for climate change, or are you hoping to kind of be that voice to get more kids your age to join the cause?
I think a lot of kids my age, they don't necessarily, they're super interested in lobbying, or they're definitely interested in the issue, but they don't really know how to get their message across. And so I think CCL has been a great way for me to be able to do that.
Perfect. So I mentioned there is an act that you guys are trying to put in. It's called the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act.
That's right.
Can you go into details about what this is? Because from what I briefly read over it, there's 3 major topics that I think it hits on that are super important: of reducing emissions, improving health, and creating jobs.
That's right. So the Citizens Climate Lobby a few years ago started working on this legislation, and they helped create the Bipartisan Climate Solutions Caucus in Congress. Through that work, they said, let's get a bill that's going to be, will impose a carbon fee, where you have a fee or a tax on, at the mine or at the well, so on emissions.
Okay.
And take that money and return it to Americans in the form of dividends, so a check for every American, like they do with the Alaska stimulus. So that's the premise of the bill, that it's going to be market-based, and that by having a rising fee that starts at $10 a ton, which is about the same as 10 cents a gallon of gas, that goes up each year, you will drive down emissions. That's the way it works. And the effect is that at the end of the day, most people will get a check that's going to be larger than what they would see in increased costs due to their emissions.
Okay.
So it would create jobs by creating innovation in the economy. We would have to have much more renewable jobs. I mean, we already have an explosion of renewable jobs, but this will spur that on even further. And then it'll help people by putting a check in their pocket each month. And it's going to be per member of household with no limit on the numbers of children, and each child will get a check as well. Well, it'll come to the parents.
Right, right. Maybe it will get to the child, right?
Maybe. And
Cross your fingers.
and it's effective. And so the prediction, and this prediction is based on economic studies they've done and that have been looked at by lots of other organizations.
Yeah, this isn't just something that's being thrown in. This is something that
Right.
has been researched and developed over time.
Oh yeah, they've been putting a lot of work into this for many years. And the prediction is that it's going to reduce the emissions by 40% in 12 years and by 90% in 30 years, which is better than the Clean Power Plan. So to me, that was really important, that it's effective. The second point that's really important is that it is market-based. And so because of that, it's something that that people from all sides of the political spectrum can support, so it's more likely to get passed. And for me, I want something to get passed.
Right, and I there's something huge that you hit on there. Again, 40% in 12 years. Now, some people may be sitting, that's a long time, 12 years, that's a long time away. And unfortunately, that's kind of at the point where we're at, because it's not going to be an instant solution. It's not going to be, hey, if you do this, in 2 years we're going to be done. This is something that we're not really going to see take effect or see the change of results till 12, 15 years from now. So if anyone's sitting there going, well, that's not my worry, what can you say to them to make them worried about it?
Well, I say the sooner we could get federal legislation passed. I mean, it's great that we're doing things on a local level. Summit County, Park City are really at the forefront. And states all around the country are starting to act on their own as well. But having federal legislation will be really darn effective, more so than anything else. I mean, I don't know if I'd say more so, but equally as important. It's also important that we have to start. I mean, we have no other solution at the moment. And once we start, the first year we'll start to see a reduction in emissions. So as soon as we can get it going, get it passed. Well, first we have to get it passed. Then we have to. Right?
There's a lot of steps to this.
Right. And once we can get it going, then we can start reducing our emissions.
Perfect. Lauren, if people want more info on the Citizens Climate Lobby, where can they go to?
Well, the local chapter, the Wasatch Back chapter, meets the third Thursday of every month in the Kimball Junction Library next to the DMV. So if you enter on the main level and go down to the DMV, so the third Thursday from 6:30 to 7:30 every month, they can go to there's a Facebook page for the Citizens Climate Lobby Wasatch Back chapter.
There's an Instagram page.
Oh,
Mia
that Instagram's for all you millennials out there.
Exactly.
Mia manages the Instagram page.
Okay.
And they can always email me. They can always just look up on the web about the Citizens Climate Lobby. They have great resources on I don't know, if you just put in Citizens Climate Lobby.
Oh, there it is. Right down there on screen,
Oh,
citizensclimatелobby.org. Mia, any words of encouragement you can give to maybe kids your age to, maybe not even the lobby, but just definitely to get more involved with climate change solutions?
Yeah, I think this is such an important issue for people of my generation. It's an issue that's really going to affect our lives, and it's going to affect how we move forward. And I think, it's such an important issue that we really have to find a way to do something about it quickly. Yeah, and I think I went into the whole lobbying process thinking that people weren't going to listen because I was young, and it was actually the opposite. I found that people were more inclined to listen to me because I was young and I had opinions about it. So.
Well, Mia and Lauren,
really cool.
guys, thank you so much for
having us.
Telling us about the Citizens Climate Wasatch Back Lobby. And everyone needs to go get involved immediately, because it's an issue that unfortunately is taking place right now, and unfortunately it's going to take all of us to fix it. So definitely get more info on everything climate change and Citizens Climate Lobby. We got more about connections, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back after this commercial break.